needs to get those misdrops together, because that's not a pretty looking board even for Vince. I know he has the alien stacking, but at some point it's a little too much, Vince.
Honestly, I think it's a double-edged sword, and because like this meta in general favors consistency and all spins. So he definitely has the all spins, and he, in terms of ability, he's far beyond a lot of people I've seen so far. But in terms of consistency, it forces him to break Surge early. So I'm a little bit worried about how his performance is going to be.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it works out here. Like we just said, Vince starting off with that misdrop there does manage to keep the back-to-back, just trying to keep that all spins, but forced to break out here. Shark, on the other hand, just keeping that back-to-back. Ooh, has that L misdrop there. Forced to finally break out of it, but did manage to get that nice 10 surge in the meantime.
I feel like Vince is just waiting for the right board moment to start back-to-back. And he is cycling until he does. But it might be for a while because he has some cheese. But Vince, known as being the #1 cheese holder, is probably going to go through this like no one's business. As we start seeing these all spins pop up, it's unfortunate as a Z-spin misdrop, and he has to wait for his next opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, both of these players definitely not playing as aggressive as we saw in the previous match. I think they're definitely timing a bit more here, just waiting for what each other is going to do. But right now, Shark's the one forced to try and downstack here as Vince starting to pile on that pressure, but does get a nice combo out of here. And now Vince is the one dealing with a lot of cheese. I feel like it's just been a lot of cheese back and forth at this point here. Both fighting to keep it low on the board, and they do manage to make it now. Shark the one with some nice surge, trying to keep it going, forced to break out of it immediately as Vince sends a spike.
Vince really gambling to get that eyepiece for the T-spin. Imagine to end up getting some cheese on the board, but just like, just disappears. And Vince, the backpack at 12, manages to actually they're just both canceled out immediately. Crazy.
Yeah, Vince just using so much all-spin knowledge for just basic T-spin setups. Has that T misdrop at the top. Forced to try and combo again, has another misdrop there, still barely surviving at the top, and Shark finally able to get the killing blow, just trying to send any attack they can to get Vince out, and they do manage to get the first round with that.
Yes. The moment you stop applying constant pressure, that's the moment where it's like a great opportunity to start upstacking, as a Shark here is immediately going to go on that offense, going to take that extra point. I think before Vince starts to catch on, he needs to get as much as a lead as possible. Certainly, he does have one. Begins with a bit of mountain stacking at a relatively clean board. Probably going to try to skim through this as he opens up the board. But Vince, like, I look away, he already has a back-to-back at 10 with all spin. Crazy.
I mean, yeah, you look away for 1 second and Vince is ready, but when we say that, forced to break out of it as they get sent to the top here, I feel like Vince is just focusing more on the all spins than the wins. Come on, Vince, you gotta pull it together here. But I mean, right now they're sitting nice and pretty at the bottom. Shark dealing with a lot of cheese here. Bursts their way down with a nice down stack. In the meantime, Vince doing some crazy all spins. What was that? Maintaining that back-to-back 11 at this point here. Might be forced to break it here.
Oh. God.
Yeah, finally does nearly die before they can pull it off, but Shark now forced in a huge down stack as
Shark
they get sent that spike. Yeah, not able to survive that. That was some crazy all spins.
Jesus. Yeah, I think it's a general principle of how usually when you make T-spins, people tell you, okay, just try not to mess up the board. Don't go for T-spins that destroy your board. It's the same exact principle. Like, the T-spin is an all-spin. It's just that there's like 6 more things that we have to learn. Well, okay, never mind. 5 more, excluding O-spin. Excuse me. But I think the principle still applies here, where you should probably go for all-spins that will cater towards your board. And I think Vince definitely needs a little bit more of experience on that. Maybe he'll shift his gameplay. But he's definitely on the right track in terms of how he uses the all-spin to start out with.
I feel like for Vince, they could just do anything and get away with it, to be honest. They just, fundamentals don't apply to them when they have the swamp water world record and do some crazy stuff in that. So they're cracked. Yeah. But right now they're struggling here. forced to try and cancel here. Does get a nice mini attack there, but Shark immediately able to counter it. Both of them sitting at the bottom of their board now.
Very nice defense from, actually, or just like counter defense from the Shark here, just constantly applying that pressure, making sure that Vince can't even get started. And he now has the back-to-back. The patience has now worn down with the back-to-back of 14, and wonder what Vince is gonna do to try to deal with that. Keep racking up.
Yeah, Shark's just timing. They're not sending. They're just building it up and up, waiting for the perfect moment. Vince is, I feel like Vince is terrified right now, seeing that massive minus 27 on their board, just waiting here. Shark might be finally forced to break it.
36, like, and he survived. Wait, did he survive? He
survives easily, to be honest. Vince was ready for it. He was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally managed to do a great counter. Shark was like, that did nothing, and then it was just like back to even for both of these players.
Oh my god, in fact, I don't know about even.
And Vince is the one with the 31. I don't even know if they had that much of a surge with that. It just managed just to kill, tying it right back up.
And so absurd with power stacking with surge is just, it's not broken, but it's just a huge amount of damage that's like almost incomprehensible.
Yeah, it's a very tough position when you're down that much, but I mean, Vince didn't care, managed to get their own counter spike, takes the win. And now it looks like Vince getting spiked up once again this round here. Does find a combo here. Shark trying to build up that surge once again here. Gets it up to 5. Vince doing fine just on their own, has their own surge starting to be built up as Shark is forced to break their own. Does have that nice 180 into a huge 32 combo. Vince forced to break out of their own surge.
Yes, but Vince was ready to tank it. He was totally ready for it, which is great.
Vince is always ready, apparently.
Yes. It's pretty interesting because, like, oh, well, actually, before I even mention what I was going to mention, he's already at the top of the board. And
I think he had a miss while he was trying to do an all spin, forced to break out of it. Got a lot of cheese, but sitting right back at the bottom. Shark, on the other hand, had that surge built up, gets a nice spike there, sending Vince to the top. Vince barely surviving with the perfect IPs.
Yeah, but Shark misdropping. We got a down stack, and oh my god, that's crazy. Barely
misdrops doesn't matter when Vince is just struggling at the top there. Can't get through it.
Yeah. I think that one thing that helps with Vince is, like, I mean, we see all these crazy spins and how he destroys his board, but it's because he knows the limitations of his board that he can get away with all that. And he's just always finding that, like, he, like, knows when it goes too far and it goes backtracking like that. That's what makes him so defensively strong, even though he makes so many misdrops.
Yeah, he's just a perfect player. But speaking of misdrops, sometimes it's a little too much. Shark had the perfect well there to send a huge spike. Vince misdropping and not ready to counter it.
All spins versus consistency. Who's going to win? Okay. Pretty sure that with all spins, you can definitely double the speed of someone. In terms of back-to-back building, you can double the speed of someone who's just only doing T-spins, probably. At the very least.
Shark had a huge combo there with a like mini 4-wide, sent a 36 spike. Vince was cheesed up, but Vince immediately counters with massive cheese of their own. Shark's not the one that's the cheese world record holder, not able to counter that with a nice down stack like Vince would do.
That's absurd. Like, you'd think that sending cheese to Vince in that situation would be beneficial, but it just ended up being sent back, and then Shark was just so confused on what to do that he just I don't know, he suffered the consequences. Well, speaking of cheese, we get to see a lot more with, it's just like, there was just like 6 lines of cheese at the very least, all at once from that surge. Like,
well, Vince gets through it like so quickly, it's gone in a matter of seconds. They have no garbage on this board at this point with a huge surge build up ready as well. Still going with that T-Pin, tries to go for the TST and not... He had that 16 surge, not able to clear a line without doing an all spin and died because of it.
That's so dumb. And it's so unfortunate he misdropped too. If he would have gotten away with that.
I don't know if I've seen someone die because they cannot clear a line to break their surge. That is very unfortunate.
Yeah. I actually see it more often than I'd expect. especially against players who, I guess, I mean, Vince isn't a player that focuses solely on just doing T-spins, obviously not, but it's sort of like if you're anticipating a piece to come in, well, if you're like, if it's just too far away, then it's just not worth going for half the time. And so you have to find another alt spin to do, or set one up early beforehand.
Oh my goodness. The Shark with that crazy survival at the top there. But Shark's still alive here. They were sitting at the top, still sitting at the top, basically. Finally makes their way down. Vince, that surge did not matter to Shark, apparently. Finds the way down. Now Vince is the one in the hot seat right now, getting sent a huge amount here. Shark's trying to build that surge up.
He's setting up all spins, like 3 attacks ahead. What the heck is his vision? It's actually crazy.
They're still maintaining it. Vince with a huge spike, forcing Shark to finally break out of this. Apparently it is. Just don't ask questions.
This is a learning session. I don't know what anyone else is saying. This is amazing. Oh my god, he's at the top of the board. There's so much. I mean, there's always so much cheese. Who am I kidding? It's always cheese. He's doing a power stack. He's turning into a 4-wide.
Cannot get that combo going there, unfortunately. Not able to get a huge spike. Shark's still dealing with a little bit of cheese here, trying to find the combo. Does find a nice one out. Yeah, Vince with 15 misdrops on their board, trying to all spin their way out of it. Not able to get all spins, but
Shark is
Shark
a washing machine. Shark has such a big spike. Not 3-6. This is rough. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, Vince is flexing the all spins, but not able to get these killing blows that they want.
Yeah, and yeah, he's definitely getting the big surge, but if anything, he needs to find the opportunity to get that big spike with the surge, but hasn't really been able to do that with all the pressure coming from Shark. It's just he's always stuck at the top of the board as well, and misdrops don't help either.
Yeah, that last one was just a misdrop fence. I mean, Shark, all they needed to do was do some LST and won them that round there. I think Vince might be getting a little bit too flexy with it, and it's costing them a lot of rounds here. It looks like Shark ready with a huge spike. Vince trying to find the down stack, but hesitated too long. And now Shark is taking a demanding 5-point lead here. Only needs three more to win this set.
Funnily enough, Vince is actually greeting way too much there. I think the thing about Surge, it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security. Like, if you have a huge Surge, then it makes you think, I could just stay at the top of my board indefinitely, and I just break through it. What is that 38 spike? But, like, it's just, if you just, like, have a super rough board and you just break Surge, you're just screwed right after. So I do think that if you're planning to do that, you at least need to stay down, like, at least 5 blocks lower than whatever Vince was doing. But speaking of Surge, we're starting to see that again. Vince starting to go with his game plan again. Always seems like the spikes themselves may not be enough, and Shark here actually starting to set up a fractal C-spin, excuse me. Yes, but there's a lot that's going on here. It's very back and forth.
I think Shark just has impeccable timing this round. Like, Vince had a huge surge ready, but I mean, Flying had so much clean, they were ready to counter it right away. Right now, they're sitting at the top, but again, like I just mentioned, had a huge board of clean here. Vince, on the other hand, forced to try and get to their own clear as Shark starts to build a huge attack here, 24. Vince now dealing with a lot of cheese while at the top of their board, trying to find any downside they can, get the Tetris. Tried to keep it going, does make it down to the clean. Shark not able to get the killing blow, and misdrops that eyepiece, breaking them out of Surge.
Oh my god, he's power stack. I am starting to notice something about the attack patterns between these two players, and perhaps why Shark is at an advantage. And I just need to look a little bit further to confirm, because it's pretty interesting.
I mean, Vince misdropping, that's definitely not helping them in regards to their own board here. Shark not in the cleanest position to try and capitalize, still trying to make it down, finally gets the clean. Vince sitting right at the top here, just waiting forever to clear that eyepiece. I don't know what they were waiting so long for. Finally gets down to the bottom here, not the cleanest board, and immediately gets sent right back to the top, but still finding combos to make their way down.
I think, oh wow, perfect time for a spike, actually. Just, yeah, Shark just couldn't get that T-spin in time, unfortunately. But I do think that Vince, if, like, what I'm thinking is true, Vince is gonna need to change up his attacks. I think right now he's hyper-focusing just too much on trying to build the big surge. And if he can't do that, then he needs to find another win condition. Like, we can definitely see from Shark's gameplay, like, he often doesn't build up huge surge. He always builds a power stack and breaks at like 6 or 8 surge. So which prevents Vince from actually being able to build up. It just totally negates the damage. And I think that if Vince does it right, then there is a good chance that he could actually make a comeback as long as he's able to power stack and spin faster.
But it's for that round, it's just not enough there. Shark only 2 away from winning it. I mean, yeah, this strategy has not been working for Vince. I don't know if they're going to figure out the counter in time, though. They don't have a lot of room left to get wins.
Yes.
Looks like they're starting to time a little bit here.
Yes.
Forced to break out of Surge, but still sitting at the top.
That humongous queen stack that... God.
It looks like Shark trying to clean up their board, trying to look for attack, but not able to. Forced to break out of that Surge. Vince misdropping at the top again. Yeah, has a lot of cheese, making that through. Misdropping that L piece. Not in a great position, trying to find the down stack as Shark continues to build their Surge up once again.
Forcing Shark to break Surge. Now Vince taking his own Surge does not do anything as Shark just continues to keep canceling and canceling over and over again. And that defense is just so hard to break. And those huge power stacks they making doesn't help either. It just, well, it helps Shark, but doesn't help Vince, if anything. Oh my god, he tries to get the T-spin. Too greedy.
Goes for greedy. Does not have the T-piece ready, and with that, Shark just needs one more and moving on to winner's final themselves. Vince needs to pull a miracle and a half, and I know Vince is very capable of them, but with how Shark has been playing, it's going to be a tough sell for them to do it this time.
Yeah, then he has to believe in the change, and knowing that what he's doing is likely not working, he's going to have to definitely figure out a way to take that risk, especially when it's match point. Like, no one wants to take that risk at match point. But unfortunately, a massive spike from Shark, and we see 11-4. Shark takes the victory.
Yeah, not able to get to that T-spin in time, and it cost Vince... just got ruthlessly, I would say, basically slaughtered. I mean, Shark played so well there. Vince not able to figure out any win condition to get that many wins. And now with that, we're seeing Vince moving on to losers. We have Caboozled and Shark, who are the ones sitting nice and pretty in winners finals. But for now, we're going to move on to a losers bracket to see what's going on over there.